calling from RFM. Can you please over Elise?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
It's false desire.
John?
Yes, yes.
All right. Okay, just hold the phone. We're going to join in a few seconds.
Okay.
Fear. Whether it is day or night, or the object is black or white, the truth you insist to mock, because you always appear in black. You have your glasses sight, then to try to make things right by casting shadows on the light. Ebony, your shadow is mocking you. I guess you need to bleach it too. Bleach it too. Bleach it too. Bleach it too. Bleach it too.
Call him Spolly with one called Ebony. So we have live online Sean C. Harrison. Good afternoon, Sean. How are you?
Yes, good afternoon, Sister Elise. I'm holding on. I'm here.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Excellent.
Yes.
You know, you've always been sending us email with a few of your poetry every now and then, but telling us how you're a poet and, you know, you want to be heard. The other day I was looking, it was Richie Innocent's Facebook page, and he shared one of your poems. I think it was Mental Health Day, which was last week.
Yes, last week Thursday, I believe.
Last week Thursday.
I recall well.
It was amazing.
Okay.
But before we get into the poetry, let us talk a little bit about you. I know that you're raised and born and raised in St. Thomas.
Yes.
Let's talk on a little bit.
Talk about being born and raised in St. Thomas.
Who you are.
Yes, well, I am, I am someone who, had an artistic gift, since infancy, which was, first surprisingly, to sing. I was told by an elderly family friend that I did my first full-length concert at the Anglican Church Hall when I was only 3 years old, and singing was really my only claim to fame. From that time up until adulthood, but I was a child who was subject to, growing up in St. Thomas, I was subject to the same kinds of experiences that most children would have, especially in a time in Jamaica where, that was markedly different from the Jamaica we know today, even as it concerns our children. There was a lot more security, and safety, in our environment. So, to tell you the truth, I just ran wild and free, and, I said that, my life was not without its share of, bittersweet moments, because while I even was a child, there were things that, challenges that I had with health, and with my health, and all of that. So amid, being, a really rambunctious child who was always exploring, always, playing with other children and all of that, I had to battle bouts of sickness, which my mother really tried desperately, the best she could to control and assuage. I really, yes.
Who were you?
Excuse me?
Age were you when you started to battle bouts of sickness?
Well, I believe since infancy, because I had spoken in a previous interview that I was not breastfed as a child, because of my mother's my mother's anatomy. I'll just say that, so she had to express the milk, and all of that. So that was really the first fall down as it concerned my health. I was not breastfed, and so because of that, I developed problems along the way. I was told that I had my intestines did not have the viscosity that normal people's intestines had to actually pass waste efficiently. So I battled with a terrible, with terrible bouts of constipation, for which I had to be admitted to the Princess Margaret Hospital from very early, and it actually persists to this day, and I mean, based sometimes on my diet and all of that. So anyway, I mean, there were other things along the way, frequent bouts because of the prolonged singing and because of the frequent singing, frequent bouts of pharyngitis, laryngitis, tonsillitis, the flu. As a matter of fact, since infancy to date, over 30 illnesses. I can count over 30 illnesses.
30?
Yes, had affected me over, the period from infancy to this point. Yes.
Okay,
So,
all right.
yes.
We're going to do now. Here what we're going to do.
Yes.
We're going to break in about 4 minutes, and then after we do cash pot, then we're going to come forward. But in the meantime,
Yes.
could you just tell us, okay, fine, you've had several bouts of various kinds of illnesses.
Yes.
What did that do for you as a human being?
Oh.
Having that?
Oh.
Has it made you stronger, weaker, what?
Okay, well, I would definitely say stronger, and most of all, it really helps me to develop a deep compassion for those who are ailing, and the truth is that when I was a child, I had stated that I wanted to be a doctor, and my mother actually bought a medical guide book. It was actually called the Modern Medical Guide, because I stated that I wanted to be a doctor. And I read that book over and over and over, looking at disease conditions as a child, looking at the cures and all of those things, looking at the pictures, the diagrams that would depict, each of the disease conditions. And so early out, I got a fair understanding of many disease processes, or a number of disease processes, even as they affected me. And because of my having read that book, I was able to self-medicate and what should I say? I was able to self-medicate a number of things that would have come upon me, because my mother, God bless her soul, as much as, she tried, I think sometimes the stresses were, a bit great. And so it ended up that I, became some of the things that would have happened to me. My mother was maybe a bit puzzled. She would take me from doctor to doctor in the parish, trying to get me well and stuff like that. And even my uncle, who his name is Ronald Bolton, they call him John Cockerhead. He would also help to nurse me and all of that. But between those things, I still, nothing really kept me down that much. I was always very energetic, especially because I loved fruits as a child. So I would be all over the place picking coolie plums, getting June plums, mangoes, all kinds of things, guineas, because we had all those things around us in the Red Hill Spend community.
All right.
Yes.
No, and then when we come forward, you see, like how you're on that topic of fruits and all of that,
yes.
and ask you briefly about the way you eat,
yes.
because you know how important that is.
Indeed.
And if you have changed your diet, and if the change of your diet has actually helped you with these various illnesses, because a lot of these illnesses sometimes is because of how we were raised and the food we were raised eating.
Yes, true. Yes.
And come forward to that. So don't come out, don't hang up, right?
Yes.
Soon come forward
Yes,
to it.
I was good.
Welcome to the official live drawing of the Supreme Ventures Lottery Game. This could be your lucky day. Get your tickets out and let the games begin.
Good afternoon. It is Wednesday, October 16, 2019. I'm Lisa, and welcome to this afternoon's live Supreme Ventures game draw. Now, before we begin, here's a quick look at the mid-morning winning numbers. And remember, all Supreme Ventures live draws are being supervised by the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Commission and observed by the independent auditing firm, PwC. And now let's put some money in your top draw. This afternoon's jackpot is back at $200,000, so congrats to our mid-morning winner. Here are your winning top numbers, and good luck. The first winning top draw number for this afternoon is 16. 16 is followed by 22. Our third winning top draw number is 12. And if you want to win the jackpot of $200,000, you're going to need lucky number 7. Our final top draw number is 6. And now let's take a play with our dollars game. I hope you're feeling lucky. The winning dollars numbers are coming right down. And starting off our dollars game this afternoon is ball 21. 21 is followed by 26. Here comes our third winning dollars number for this afternoon. It's 29, and that's followed by 32. Making its way down is 14. And next in line for a dollar's game is 23. Our next winning dollars number is 10. And following 10 is 27. Here comes 31. Our next winning dollars number for the afternoon draw is 34. And 30 follows. Our final dollars number for this afternoon is 35. And now for some easy winnings with our Pick 2 game. So here goes. First winning Pick 2 number is coming up. And here it is. That's 33. Our second winning Pick 2 number is 22. So again, 33 and 22 are your winning Pick 2 numbers. And up next, you can play it three ways. It's our Pick 3 game. The first winning Pick 3 number for this afternoon is 0. Next in line, what do we have? It's a 5. Here comes the third and final Pick 3 number. It's 1. So again, 0, 5, and 1 are your winning Pick 3 numbers. And it's now time to turn up the winnings, so get ready for Pick 4. The first winning Pick 4 number is 1. Next in line is 4. The third winning Pick 4 number is another 4. And finally, 8. So once again, your winning Pick 4 numbers are 1, 4, 4, and 8. Now confirming your winning numbers is as easy as 1, 2, 3. 1, you can check the Supreme Ventures Results app. 2, check the press. Or 3, you can call the results hotline. And I can play the games you love with our Supreme Games app, so register, play, and you just might win. So a quick reminder, our 10:30 a.m. winning cash pot number was 33, Lucky Mark Big House, and a white ball was selected. Now you list to play it, but can you win it? Let's see what this afternoon's winning cash pot number will be. And this afternoon's winning cash pot number is lucky number 7. Congratulations to all cash pot winners. Again, the winning number is 7, and the lucky mark for 7 is married woman. And now, let's try to make it a married woman. Good luck. And what will it be? Here it comes. And it's coming up. And a white ball was selected. And now let's take a look at this afternoon's winning numbers. And congratulations to everyone who won. And a big congratulations to our newest lotto winner of $277 million. Saturday night, the winner purchased their tickets at Snoopy's Wholesale and Gaming in Bellevue, St. Mary's. So please, check your tickets. It could be you. And don't forget to go get those lotto tickets. The lotto jackpot is back at $25 million. And remember to come back at 3 p.m. for more games you love to play. I'm Lisa. Be kind to one another and have a supreme afternoon.
Hope you were a big winner. Play your favorite Supreme Ventures game every day and tune in for our live draw 6 times a day at 8:30 a.m., 10:30 a.m., 1 p.m., 3 p.m., 5 p.m., and 8:25 p.m. on this station. Supreme Ventures, making winners every day.
Thank you very much. That was the lunchtime dollars Pick 2, Pick 3, Pick 4 cash pot draw. It is now 5 minutes after 1 o'clock. The hour between 1 p.m. and 2 p.m. on Wednesday is brought to you by Magnum. Magnum, the official drink of dancehall.
So my squad just go Burger King. Take a picture and post it. Hear the caption. Awesome. The time by Burger King tastes food your way is
5 minutes after 1 o'clock. In case you've just joined us, we have live online Sean Harrison. And Sean is a poet, musician, and also an author. You still there, Sean?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, fine. So we were talking about sickness and the fact that it followed you for quite a while in your youth. And how did you find in your adult life once you started preparing your own meals? Did that make a difference?
Yes, a very big difference. Actually, having, been given the chance to, totally regulate what I ate, as a young adult, I realized that one thing was actually changing, and that that had to do with the same excretory process, as well as things like the migraine headaches, would eventually have gone, with the help of prayer too, and not everything left at once, but I did get relief over a period of time from quite a number of the things that would have been plaguing me. So yes, diet, I definitely have to stress that diet had a whole lot and does have a whole lot to do with general wellness.
Okay. I'm looking at your awards and your achievements, and they're quite a lot, and congratulations on all of
Yes,
that.
thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
When did the poetry actually start?
Okay, the poetry actually came, in a very peculiar way, because I was always writing songs. I have been writing for a total, I realized, a total of 28 years. I started at 14 years old writing songs, right? So, can you please remind me of the question? I'm sorry.
When did you actually started writing poetry?
Yes, right. Actually, yes. Actually, after having really almost completely lost my voice, I wasn't even able to pen songs. So my first attempt at any poetry came out of a songwriter's block, really. And I only wrote, attempted maybe about 3 or 4 pieces, but I left it alone, from that time, and that was actually 2003. It was only in 2009 when my singing voice left me completely, that I was not able to even record the songs that I would have written. I, definitely turned to poetry. That was 2009, seriously. So I started writing fixed form poetry, coming out of, just the whole, the whole tradition of fixed form poetry, which I was told is not really the preferred idiom of today or modern poetry. But I started out that way. It was only so I wrote quite a few Christian, and inspirational poems, during that time from 2009 onwards. And it was when I was exposed to the expertise of a gentleman, I think it's Dr. Harold McDermott, who was a member of the Morant Seventh-day Adventist Church, which I attended since infancy, who actually came to my home a few times, and he promised to sit with me and review some of my poetry, and he made suggestions here and there. So I started.
What inspired the poetry?
What inspired the poetry?
Yes.
It was, as I said, it came out of a songwriter's block. So having
what is the content of the poetry?
Anything at all that is a topic, that might be a topical issue, something that has to do with anything ranging from Bible truths, doctrines, in the initial stages, to ranging to romantic poetry, which was what I later attempted. But you had also message poems that spoke of different axioms, that spoke of different. It's a wide range of subject matter that I can tell you that sometimes when I sit down to write, I don't know what I'm going to write, and then I just start writing, and it just flows. So the truth is that the process has not necessarily been a difficult one, especially as a foundation for good grammatical skills and sentence structure and all those things was actually laid in school, starting from the formative years into high school, because English was actually my very best subject, in basic school, in all-age school, not the all-age, as well as high school, English language and literature. Yes.
We can hear that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm actually looking at a poem here now that you wrote for your mom. Long live Mama T.
May I clarify that is actually a neighbor. That's a neighbor. Yes, who lived directly in front of us.
Okay.
Who lived directly in front of us. She's now deceased. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, we're going to get to the poem because, I'm sure our listeners want to hear the content of your poetry.
Okay.
Let us talk about what inspired me to even invite you.
Yes.
I remember last week a poem was featured on social media with you talking about a very passionate, emotional poem talking about mental health issues.
Yes.
What inspired that poem? And I'm going to ask you to share it with us. But before that, what inspired it?
Oh my goodness, you're going to ask me to share it. It's a bit late.
Not if you don't want to.
No, it's just that I'd have to run to my room to get the poem.
Oh.
Yes, that's the thing, because I didn't expect that you would have asked me to read it.
Your room far?
No, it's not far at all. It's right here. I think I have it on my bed. It's right here.
Go on, man.
Yes, I have it. I'm going back to the veranda to get clear of the radio.
Okay.
Yes, all right.
You know, I'm particularly excited about that poem because it speaks to issues that many Jamaicans particularly and people generally have.
Yes.
And I don't think it has been really discussed in as sensitive a way as needs to.
Okay, yes, that's
All
true.
right. So let us talk about what inspired the poem, and then if you have it nearby, we can hear it.
Yes. All right. The thing is that there were a number of happenings at my workplace. You know, I worked with the St. Thomas Health Department for a decade, and a series of happenings actually led me away from that place of work, you know, to unemployment. And you know, when I actually became unemployed, I sat down and I wrote this poem out of you know, a sense of what should I say, a sense of loss, a sense of betrayal, a sense of bewilderment at the fact of how, you know, of bewilderment at the fact of how. Are you hearing me now?
Go back to where you were.
Okay. All right. Are you hearing me?
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I'm saying I also wrote this poem out of a sense of bewilderment at, you know, different ways, you know, in which I was treated, you know, very shabbily, not only there at the health department, but, you know, in other instances, you know, knowing well that I had suffered with this illness, you know, expecting sensitivity, expecting that I would have had a better experience out of the fact that even management was well aware, most persons in management were well aware of my condition there. So I wrote this poem, you know, because I really wanted to vent, as well as, I mean, it just came. I wanted to, you know, speak to the issues that were pertinent, or are pertinent, you know, to the whole aspect of mental health as another part of the human being's experience as it concerns even wellness and disease processes, you know.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's hear the poem.
Okay. All right. It's the two sides of madness. Let me tell you something about a set of people in Jamaica land, where we like to call the proverbial madman. Now, in a St. Thomas, there were some famous ones we know, and regular outer beer, them would put on quite a show. We underestimate how valuable them people there is to we, but there is more than meet the eye, and today, you are going to say, you know what, nobody think is only making fun. It's a serious issue me I raise. You're going to see the time it done. Weber was a man who them said he'd have to smoke the herb. A doctor in the town in Darcy said if him don't, him a go get disturbed. He was one of the first in a big marant there who, when police a pass, was puffing weed same way. Cuckooberry was one who, just by hearing that name, you know he was in Fair Street, and that was in greatest fame. Bunny was a little man who never say a thing, but him walk the town end to end with back away, him never one day fling. Mad Ivy was a lady who wash your clothes for you. Look when they come to, she always say, I wonder what she do. If you ever call her Renka Mile, she cuss from dawn till dusk. But she used to give me mother gossip for she hear her story first. Jemima was a little woman also known as Pram Pram. Never in a be at all and not have on her little Tom. One day we are come from school and some ball out the nickname. She fling a green banana kiss Gregory foot. We laughed that day as a shame. No lady was very jealous. When at church she take a set, you see. It no matter if you're single or you are married somebody, when you get that guy from her, that's everything. You would think she the one who wear the ring. Everybody know Ricky. You can send him anyway. By cash pot, go hardware, fetch your bag, not care wait there. Tata is a man when him talk, if you listen carefully, you learn things like when him say, the government, them a mash up the country. You know my uncle say, I never saw him born. He meet accident, and from that day, as we would have said, him gone. Now, Kilowatt was a man who did play the best football, but him get off. And when him see we, I want name him a fial. What Marky? Give me a 20 now. No give him a see. No give him a see. Him just said, Germs, move from your son. When that man did the pan tap him have a whitey pan each hand. Seem like quick as one set gone, another set land. Donovan, everybody know for when him driving through the town, from a mile away you hear him driving in tight truck and make the sound. Look like I saw him born. For you could have looked on the little face and see that something never right from a long time. For even him mother have a trace. But Lord, the people them love him and him say some rude things all the while. When him don't solicit the girl them happy broke a smile. Baby G is a lady make things. She good with her hand, you see. Fifi with coconut leaf, strong maternal. Very, very pretty. People say all manner are even about that girl, and all me know is she walk barefoot and talk like a funny and beg to cry as she go. Not to mention Jean, officially cock up, Eddie Rennie, and even Esme. Barefoot Dan and the next Donovan were dead as sing so sweetly. I wonder if you want to see where I'm going. Well, I am going to the other side. For me have a bone to pick that I can no longer hide. No for we in a clean clothes, a madman just the same. But you would have never know how it go. For we stay on top of the game. We take we pill and quietly go about the liquor duties. But the place where we work in a Lord God so much abuses. Can you imagine me work for 5 years in the heart of the health service, according to them a sterling employee who make the office hayless, only to hear from a nurse who asks me to do something, mad, sick, head no good. Now up to now the words are ring. And best of all, we was part of the same denomination, but prejudice run deep, look like it dig out our compassion. 8, 9, 10 years in the job pass, not even an appointment, and all me ball to the powers that be at the same kind of treatment. When me say me I left, me sign my first PER, my resignation there. You know how long me ask for it and them ignore me cry the same way. So me said to my supervisor, you never see sign things was getting to me. After me the counselor was what she answered, very matter-of-factly. And the one who supervised me before when me come one day start cuss mark after me left. Go take your medication was what the man gave out in disgust. So me left the job in frustration for it wasn't working out. A mentally ill employee no really have no clout. And when June 2013 find me facing unemployment alone, that was when this madman became as such more widely known. Then try to take shame out of them yai by asking me to come back. But 10 years was enough for the health department multifaceted attack. I swear to God I would have never taken another 9 to 5. For them mock you, pass you over for promotion, can't be able to see madman stride. For just like maybe Ricky, Cuckooberry, Pram Pram and all the rest. People perception is that we shouldn't be able to give us the very best. After all, if you say something with the smallest iota of common sense, him no mad, a general and keep up your pretense. But me a one madman with method, and me never diagnosed myself. 16 years, that was then. 16 years of schizophrenia documented. 16 years of hell. And if you want me name out medication, both injection and pill, me get Clopixal, Modiket, Risperdal, and the dreaded Lagactil. Then me come haloperidol, Artane, Cogentin, and Milleril. Seroquel was the last one. Don't to sex drive them there's something kill. So tell me, Jamaican people, you know the story behind the one them you see every day to whom you can be so unkind. They must be the picnic to one, you must think before you act. Say maybe them was a mother, a scholar, a teacher before them all get cracked. Maybe I saw them born. So it could have been their fault. When sometime I rather we all meet misfortune and get a little salt. Me not beg no pity for me, neither for the rest. But treat we like somebody and put we to the test. Say if we not make enough of one shame who claim we have all the sense. and I discriminate against people with lack of understanding as only defense. Me understand quite well and I pity uno so till. For enough of uno see one would I do well with two mad pill. See Jamaica, yeah? Everything now out of place. See Jamaica, yeah? Everything now out of place. And a normal people run it. With that, the rest my case.
Wow. I don't know where to start. But what you say about nothing we could have done well with two mad pills, a serious thing.
Yes.
But although we are laughing because you're making us humorous side of it,
Yes.
it's a very serious point because, as you say, prejudice runs deep.
Indeed.
What was your whole point? And you know something, Sean. You know what I love about even this particular interview now?
Yes.
The way that you have raised the discussion about mental illness does not make us uncomfortable because sometimes a lot of the prejudices that you see is just discomfort.
Yes.
But people genuinely don't know how to deal with mental illness.
Indeed. That is very true.
And the way that you have dealt with it here, it makes us able to relax a bit. Because all of us in any communities that we lived in, we have all known a cocoberry, a mad ivy, a licky, a jumine. We have all known that.
Yes.
But have you ever taken the time to get to really know them?
Indeed.
So my question to you now is how healing has it been for you to express yourself so clearly?
Well, you know, extremely healing because when I was actually diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia at age 19 and actually left in Jamaica by most of my immediate relatives at age 20, you know, they having wanted me to, you know, go with them or would you know, who would have been willing to make arrangements for me to come, you know, I refused, you know, vehemently to go to the U.S., you know, for my own personal reasons, you know, and convictions. I do not believe I would have fared well there based on my challenges and what I knew to be, you know, well, weaknesses and stuff like that that were extremely troubling that nobody really knew. I decided I would not go to the U.S. because I do not see them as an example of a country that you know really extols certain values which are pivotal, you know, to human, what should I say, human thriving as well as even spiritual growth and all of that. You know, I did not like what I saw, you know, of the U.S. and it turned me off a lot, you know, even though there were some things that were really good, you know, of course, you know, but I do not think I would have fared well there. And especially the fact that for me, spatial outlays, you know, are a problem. As gifted as I am, as intelligent as people think I am, I don't find my way around complex layouts, spatial layouts very well. And when I looked at the U.S. and saw that concrete jungle after concrete jungle, I said, no way, not me. I'm not going there. So I decided to remain in the country, you know. And when I say the country, also the rural area, you know, where I was most comfortable, which was in St. Thomas.
All right. Yes. You said that you were diagnosed with schizophrenia at 19 years, and my little experience has taught me that a lot of diagnoses like these happen just about that time.
Yes.
Because a lot of times it happens when our friends are either leaving high school, going to college, and it always it amazes me as to why that stage. You also mentioned all these various medications. You listed them out.
Yes.
Has time helped you to seek more how should I put it now, holistic ways of treating your schizophrenia?
Well, actually, you know, in the initial stages, when my mother actually had left, you know, to the U.S., knowing that, you know, sensing that I would have needed something after a while, realizing that certain things were not settling down like you know, there was slight paranoia where I would hear voices in the distance, people talking, and thinking they would have been speaking about me. And as a matter of fact, as a child, I was extremely sensitive in certain respects. And, you know, oftentimes things that people would have said to me, you know, would have crushed me in such a way sometimes that, I mean, the pain was really great because sometimes, when you do have people who are highly artistic and gifted, they are very sensitive persons who,
Absolutely.
yes, so the truth about it, is that I really, again, I'm sorry. Please repeat the question so that I can finish answering it. I'm sorry.
I really don't, because what you said
Yes.
more or less helps us to
Okay.
understand.
Okay.
And that what you said about feeling things so deeply
Yes.
also helps us to understand what happens in the minds of the very sensitive.
Indeed.
Because if pushed too far, it can result in mental health issues.
Indeed.
Next question to you would be, what would you say to the public looking on as someone who obviously has mental health issues? Help us to find a way to deal with it. How would you help us that way?
Okay. The first thing I'll say is that I do admit, and I will always stress this, I do admit that for caregiver and sufferer, mental illness is no walk in the park. It often takes such a marked toll on both parties or on either party that, the experience that I've had would have had to have led me to the place where I, would have been able to put myself inside the experience of not just the sufferer, but those who are taking care. I remembered when I was at home and when different people would have been at home tending to me while my family was away, whether it was helpers or, a cousin, or, a sister-in-law, some of those people, as well as church members. I mean, there were things that were happening that were pretty troubling and pretty stressing, to them as I actually was, found myself in the throes of the illness. And so coming out of that, I couldn't have really reasonably, come to the conclusion that caregivers, were, or persons who were concerned, were dealing with it at whatever level. I could not reasonably come to the conclusion that they were going through nothing. It is often extremely difficult and stressful to deal with mentally ill persons, especially when they are not compliant with medications, or when the disease process actually is very acute and all of that.
All right. How have you been in recent times?
Well, the truth about it, is that in the same year that I actually left the St. Thomas Health Department, I was spiraled into a very dark place I would have been spiraled into a very dark place for the period of the next 6 years, which would have been from the time I resigned, well, at least from the beginning of 2013, when all hell broke loose in my life, and, to 2018, January 31st, when I actually exited the Bellevue Hospital to return to the parish, where I made an effort, I made a decision that at least for now, I'm going to try to again be compliant with my regimen, go to the psychiatric clinic, get my medications, take my medications, and all of that, because really and truly, even though I did discuss this elsewhere, that I do strongly believe there's a demonic element to most cases of mental illness. There's no way what I experienced in my mind over the years could have come out of just normal, brain work or, thinking. The things that I experienced were extremely dark, extremely dark.
I hear you. And you know something, Sean, I'm listening to you, and there's a part of me that is just actually very happy to know that we can be communicating with someone who is suffering schizophrenia, but yet still so eloquent enough to help us through the process.
Yes,
and that's a wonderful place to start from.
Yes.
And I'm listeners listening now, I'm looking at the comments. I'm sure our listeners listening now who have a different view or a different way of dealing with those among us who are ill, like any other illness, will take stock. Sean, I just want to say that this is the stuff that heart, mind, and soul, the soul is actually made of.
Okay.
And at some point, I am going to invite you to really take us through that, especially just said a while ago, that dark element,
Yes.
because many of us see that even in those who are suffering mental illnesses.
Indeed.
It's going to be a long story, so we can't do that now.
Yes.
But can I just thank you again
Yes.
for just being so open, being so eloquent, and helping us to understand, at least to begin to understand.
Indeed, yes.
You go through. Continue to write, Sean.
Yes, thank you so much.
And it's wonderful talking to you. This is not the end of it. We're going to be talking again.
Yes. Right. I'm looking forward to that, really. Yes.
Yes, I'm going to be true to my word, and I continue to be well.
Yes.
Continue to explore other ways of health.
Yes.
Because for those who have been through traumatic experiences like yours,
Yes.
they have found that there are other ways of looking at wellness.
Yes.
Quantum ways
Indeed.
of looking at wellness. You're a bright man. I'm sure you have explored